Today's August the 16th. August the 16th, and we're gonna talk about a few more things tonight. We're gonna be doing this every night at 9:30 until camp at least. This is mostly for the group that's going, but other people are welcome to listen in. It is important information, and everybody should know it. So share with your friends if you want to do that. But I think the last thing we talked about was like the colors of the Bigfoots, traps to look for, where these traps would be, certain signs to look for around these ambush spots that we talked about also. Now you always see people wanting to wood knock and make calls and whistles, but I don't know if they know this, but I mean, you have to always realize that if you're doing that and you're trying to call, one of these things in, you're not calling just one. It's like a pack of wolves. If a pack of wolves hears just a noise, their ears perk up and the whole pack will turn and look. And then they'll all go that way. Other predators will do the same thing. So don't be making calls like that trying to communicate, because you're asking for a whole bunch to come in at you, and you're actually inviting them in. Next thing I was wanting to talk about was that the Bigfoot will use a raven, an owl, and a wolf. And the raven will, once it spots you, it'll make a call. And the crows will be right before the ravens. And the crows are spotting from the high advantage points. And then the crows will come in, and once they spot you, they'll call. Now, whenever you're sighted, you have to stare that crow down. You have to stare that owl down, and you have to stare that wolf down. If you don't do that, they're going to keep calling or keep barking or start to howl. They're calling, reinforcements. They're calling Bigfoots. They're calling other wolves. When people are talking about wanting to see them and things like that, if you want to see them, use those calls. Call like a raven during the day. Just keep, play that on the megaphone. They'll come in. Or at nighttime, or even before nighttime, use a screech owl on, say, YouTube, and you'll have them. They'll come in on you that night too. Wolves same way, and the wolf will growl and bark, and that's alerts. They don't have to do that. Just like the owl. The owl doesn't even hoot until it spots food, but it'll perch around where it smells like I guess you'd say decaying flesh or something, or a sickness, or you can smell differently when you have sicknesses or ready to pass. Now remember, even with the crow, you got to stare it down all the way until it's totally out of sight. If you can stare and you watch them, they'll turn and they'll start flying away from you. But if you turn away from them, they'll turn and come back. And watch raven also. If it lands anywhere near a tree or anything, it's gonna go get in the shadow, wherever that shadow is, and it's gonna walk straight up, closest as it can, to the end of that pole or that tree. Same way these Bigfoots will do it. They're going to stay right in that shadow, right behind those trees where you can't see them. And that's also where we, when we train the trackers, we tell them that's where you got to be. You got to be in those shadows, in those lines, because you reflect light when you're out in the open. And when you're out in the open and you're reflecting light, you're visible. And that's why I tell the trackers, if you've got to stop, you stop behind a stump, a bush, in the shadow of a tree, behind a rock or something. Don't leave yourself out there. Don't stop in the open. If you see those owls and they're close enough and they're not leaving, but they're still calling, throw rocks at them. Throw sticks at them. You got to let them know that you're not prey. Also, sometimes these creatures will bring food up, like dead animals or things like that to you, but they're just telling you that this is what they eat too. If you eat this, then we're the same, but if you're not just going to eat this like this, then you're food to me. A lot of people think it as a gesture of goodwill or something, but no. Just letting you know, this is what I eat. I eat everything. Raw. Okay, we're going to get into the senses tonight too. Wherever a Bigfoot is, or an entity with negative energy, or even humans and things like that with bad intentions, that wherever that person is, or that unseeable or translucent creature is, that's the side you'll get the goose pimples, or that's the side that your hair will tingle or stand up. Most time, if it's behind you, the hair on the back of your neck will stand up. Wherever you get those goose pimples or those shivers, those cold winds, whichever side you get that on, that's your body, your senses telling you that the predator is on this side, or it's on this side, or it's behind you, or it's in front of us. You'll feel that wind. That wind will come and talk to you, and you'll feel a gust of wind. You just have to use all of your senses. Always be prepared at all times. Be ready. I mean, be ready for war. Be ready when you feel those shivers, those chills, that cold, that wind. When you feel that as a warrior, that's when you get ready. Normal people, that's when they get scared. That's when they start to really, feel fear. But to a warrior, that's when your body's telling you, get ready. It's right here. It's right to the left of us, to the right of us. So there is a difference on how you handle things. Okay. All right, where are we at? 9 minutes? All right. Because I really think that okay, 3 ways to call them in every time, but when you call them in, you're calling in every Bigfoot that's around, and they're all coming for food. There's 3 ways to call them in, and that's that raven call. The second one's that owl call. You got one for the day, one for the night. Third one is that it's called a rabbit dance. It's where you hit 3 times on one foot on your left and 1 on your right. 3 on the left, 1 on the right. 3 on the left, 1 on the right. And these Bigfoots will come over that horizon with the sun at their back, so it blinds you. But look in that direction, that's where they'll be coming from. Well, I think that's all we're going to talk about tonight. Unless we... oh, no. We was going to talk about dreams also. And also the sense... like the smell of a Bigfoot. I think it's 4 or 5 major smells, and the first smell is no smell at all. Unfortunately. The second smell is that stinchy, raunchy blood and mud and sweat smell that you're going to smell. It's a really bad smell. I smelled this before. And the third one, it's going to be like a pine forest, like a real sweet pine forest. And another one, they're going to smell like frankincense and myrrh. All those smells. And whenever they're using an area for an ambush spot, you're going to see that they use cedar trees and pull them down like this to pull the branches down for more cover. And you're going to find a lot of these places, especially around game trails, hiking trails. So be aware when you're in those areas also. And the colors of the orbs, they go from they're all violent, I guess you would say. They all will, if they can, they will try to take you. And these the colors of the orbs, it goes from white, blue, green, pink, red, and orange. And orange is the most vicious color. So if you see the orange eyes, you'll see red eyes. Some of you'll see blue eyes. Some of them you'll see light eyes or twinkling eyes. But that's how you tell the aggressiveness or the most vicious. The dark red or the orange is the most vicious. So if you see those, it's time to move on. It's not there to play, it's there to eat. So now when you see the twinkles or the light colored ones, those are not as vicious, but they do eat meat too. So you always have to be careful. The translucent Bigfoots, like we was talking about, and I was trying to put a picture on the beginning of this of a translucent Bigfoot that I've got a picture of, but it looks like a crystal person, I guess you would say, or like the heat, like we was talking about the other day, the heat off of a hot highway, or like a shimmer or shimmering. You can see the outline. Now, when you're using thermals, a thermal will pick up a Bigfoot, and the very first picture on this video is a picture of a thermal, and that one's about 50 yards away, and that was through trees and brush, but I still got that, and then I did find a couple more using that thermal. But they will show up on thermal if they don't know that you're using the thermal. But if they see an object like in the darkness that you're using like that, they will go into a translucency also. And you will see their outline also using the thermal one, because it'll be a blue, but you'll see the lines of it either bent over or hiding in the darkness. And we had a picture like that, and I let a friend see it, and he started pushing some buttons. He thought he was going back and forth, and he actually erased those pictures. And so I don't let people, touch my equipment anymore until, we're done with some of these things that we're doing. And that was that Robbers Cave. in Wilburton, Oklahoma. We found that one. And let's see. But I think that's about all that we was going to talk about tonight. I'm getting better at my time. It's only about 15:54 or 16 minutes, so that's a good time. I don't see anything else that I wrote down for today. Oh, I got one more thing to talk about. Is that's oh, also that. Remember we were talking about the crows, the ravens, the owls, the wolves. They all communicate. And they communicate by the crow coming over, the wolf following the crow, the ravens coming through. And as an extra note, frogs call water. So when you hear frogs, it's going to rain. So if you're out there somewhere and you don't have a radar weather map or something like that, and I always know that your north side, you'll always know which is north, east, south, and west if you look at a tree, because on the south side the sun is more, so you're going to have more branches on the south side, more vegetation on the south side, and less on the north side. And then from there on, then you know which way east and west is. Oh, okay. Somebody just buzzed in, but that's actually the person who I was going to talk about real fast before we close. But I've been invited to speak on what is called Chalk Talk. CHOCTALK. That is a new Choctaw podcast. I believe it is sponsored. No, it's not sponsored podcast like through the nation or anything. Which we do need things like that done. But the only way you can hear that is on podcast to use SoundCloud. Also, that's August the 26th at 4:30 p.m. Central Time Zone. I'll be talking on Chalk Talk with I want to say I don't want to get it wrong. And I'll announce that again next time. Her name's Rachel. Rachel, that's what it was. And she is on chalktalk.org, I think. So that's also on Facebook. You can go and link up with that so that whenever we do that podcast, and that podcast is going to be on Bigfoot. I'm going to give some information on really whatever a lot of people need to know, but here you're getting more information. I'm not sure how long the podcast is or will last, but we're going to be doing this every night at 9:30. So make sure you come back tomorrow also at 9:30, and we're going to go over some more information. And I do want to also remind everybody that September 3rd, 4th, and 5th is when the camp has been rescheduled, and we'll be going out and showing some different things. Different things that we talk about at camp that like traps and things like that. We're going to show you where traps are and things like that. We know where they'll be at. They're right always where we expect them to be. So, but that is Chalk Talk, August the 26th at 4:30 Central Time Zone. I'm going to close tonight, but go ahead and refresh if you got in late. It's only 20 minutes tonight, so if you can, just refresh. And if this does mess up like it did yesterday, it saves on my phone, and I'll also put another one up, or like a rebroadcast. A reposting, I guess you would say. That's the only, and just watch the second one, because the first one last time it was skipping and stopping, and it was hard to for anybody to get all the information, so I had to redo it. But that's all I was going to talk about tonight, and I will see y'all tomorrow night at 9:30, August the 17th, which is Tuesday, and we're going to be doing this every night at 9:30 unless something happens to where we can't do it, like our internet goes down, or if we have to be somewhere important, or if we got to go track or something like that. So, but if we do get to go to these places where all this activity is, we want everybody to be prepared, ready, aware. And like I was saying, this is for the group that is going to the camp, but everyone is welcome to listen to, because it is very important information. So I want to thank y'all, and I will see y'all tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. Central Time Zone.